Well, yeah, I guess we're going to do this for a little while. I was interested in talking about, I guess you could saw just the crap that's going on in the world and how we don't have the ability to, we no longer have the ability to do anything about it, I guess. You got Florida's DeSantis who's trying to turn the in denial of everything. You got Biden, who's just, in my opinion, he's older than I am, and I'm 77, and I think I'm too old to run for dog catcher, or anything else. One of the things that I realize about my age is that you have a tendency to, um, what's the term? Um, you have a tendency to things on my mind, and I'm trying to figure out if you're actually hearing me or not. So uh, that gets to be a little weird. I have an indicator down here that keeps blinking that says the sound is going out and then it's not going out, and I don't really know. I won't know until I'm done. Uh, but you know, getting back to the political aspect of things with Trump and DeSantis and all these other people is that what you're seeing now, and you can see it more in Ohio where they just had the big train disaster. You see it more there than you do any place else, right at the moment, anyhow. And that's where the politicians become self-serving assholes. They're out there ranting and raving only for their own benefit. They don't give a shit about the people that are out there. The, the local agencies, the fire, police, whatever agencies are available to these people locally, not federally, that are not anything that's non-political, that's not looking for money, or anything else. That's just trying to help, something that we just don't do that much of anymore. They're not around. But to listen to these politicians, going out there and start with the president or whoever you want to, oh, this is a tragedy. We're going to do all we can. They go there to be seen for political reasons. They don't go there because they are concerned about you, me, or anybody else. They go there because this is what they do. And it's a shame, because they have the power to help these people. They have the power to do these things, and they don't do it. And it's the same with everything else. It's people. It's been explained to me, and I'm not sure if it's right or not, but it's been explained to me in the past that people get involved in politics because they want to set the world into their own image. They think they're right and that we're wrong. Um, Goes back to the reason that we have an electoral college, because the people, politicians, and back then didn't believe that a majority of individuals could elect a effective leader. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it's to me, it seems like it's working in other countries, but their systems are different, so they can get rid of people they don't like much faster than we can. We have to wait a minimum of. You can't really impeach a president, and if you impeach a president, you basically shut the government down for whatever's left of his term until the next guy decides to run. You know, um, it's to me, it's kind of. Well, I don't know if it's archaic. I don't know whether it's going to continue to work or not. I know that we have these people around that think they're right. I think I'm one of those people. I think I'm right, but I don't put I put opinions out here. I don't put let's do this because this is the way it should be done. This is the right thing to do. About all I'll do is I'll come out here and I'll say, this is fucking crazy. What's going on? This is friggin' weird. It makes no sense. And we have a lot of that. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene making comments from, I don't know where she gets these ideas. She wants a national divorce now, red and blue states. And she forgot that the Civil War was about the, to stop the separation of red and blue states at the time. Um, if you develop a system where you have 51 individual states, 51 individual governments, and you don't have the ability to for a unified government, um, you're not going to get anything done. You had California wants to secede from the United States, Texas wants to secede from the United States. I don't know whether Florida can't secede from the United States. Where it's going to get its old people from? Um, I think that you know I'm just I don't know where DeSantis comes from because he changes his opinion. He's changed his opinions about a lot of things, and he's becoming more of a fascist style leader than he is a Republican or Democrat. And you see that. That's always been a big problem in my life. When I started being aware of politics and whatnot when I was very very young, is what makes a Republican and what makes a Democrat. Well, you usually find out that it's done by hereditary. If your father's a Republican, you have a tendency to be a Republican. If you're Democrat, vice versa, you have a tendency to be a Democrat. Or you could have been in a situation like I was. My mother needed, my father had died. My mother needed to be employed. She was employed by the city. The city was run by Democrats. And of course, there's no such thing as a secret election. They know who you vote for. Trust me, I can prove it anytime anybody wants to sit down and talk about it. Um, so she went to work for the Democratic Party, the people at the time, and so I supported the Democrats, which wasn't that hard because Kennedy was around and I liked him. I thought he was a pretty strong guy, a decent guy. It's like I thought the same thing about Clinton, and then 5 years later, you're saying, Jesus Christ, what a scumbag he was. He might have been a good president, but morally, he's a scumbag. So, I mean, there has to be some sort of separation there. But, uh, you know, I have pet peeves in politics. That's one of them. Another, the people, being inheriting their beliefs, which is, I guess, true. It's the same thing with religion. I mean, how does somebody decide to be Catholic, Jewish, or Muslim? Well, because they're basically born into a family. I was born into my mother was Catholic. My father, we're not sure. I believe was Protestant. Maybe he never went inside a church, as far as I know, except to get married. And don't remember. I don't see any evidence that there was a church wedding involved when he got married. There wasn't any church weddings involved with me. I don't. I don't believe in religion. I may believe in God. I don't believe in religions. Religions are man-made, and too many people have died for various religious philosophies that are just unprovable. And you go in by this blind faith thing, and I can't do that. So, you know, the other thing I'm into is age restrictions on politicians. And they keep talking. Biden, if he lives, is going to be 81 or 82, something like that. He's going to be in his 80s. And I don't have normal conversations with the man, so I can't tell you if he's off in any way. Public they censor and edit public conversations. All right, they did it with Reagan. Reagan was suffering. If you, there were incidences that if I watched it a live press conference about the Iran Contra scandal when it broke with Reagan, and then I rewatched it at night, and it was entirely they pieced it together. It was weird because in the original one during the day, he didn't know what he was answering. He didn't know the question he was answering. And in the nighttime, they pieced it together so it looked like he was answering a specific question that was being asked at the time. And I don't think that's true, but that's what they made it look like. So that's when I figured that out. Um, I don't know whether they're doing that with Biden or not. I don't know what his mental health is. You have to sit to be able to tell whether there's an early stage of dementia or something like that. You have to sit down and have an unrehearsed conversation with somebody. Talk to them like I'm talking to you. All right. Is there dementia in my brain? I have no idea. Probably there's probably a little bit. I do forget things, but I have a method of. I do realize I forget them, and I have a method for regaining the knowledge. I just can't do it instantaneously. So I'll come back and finish the conversation 5 minutes later. And you can tell that my train of thought tends to wander. That's been a problem with me my whole life, but it's made me able to win debates and whatnot. Being able to think while I'm talking and not have a predetermined answer to anything. Taking what you tell me and making sure I can answer it. Um, but the age factor is there. Now, what's a good age? I don't know. I mean, you will tell you differently. Doctors will tell you, yeah, you can have a 70-year-old male that's able to react as everybody else does, and fast and be quick and intelligent. Well, I know my reflexes are slow. I realize that. I mean, my body can't move as fast as it did once before. So the reflexes, even if I see something and want to stop it, I can't do it as fast as I did 40 years ago. So I don't know what's the deal with me. What's the deal with that? What's a good age to stop that at? Should we let younger people govern? I don't know. Right now, they're like me. I get angry. When I get angry, screw it. I don't care what I say or do. And I think that's a problem with the young people. They're over emotional to be a politician. But there has to be some standards, and age is one of them. And that's something that some people have to that know quite a bit more than I do. Sit down and figure it out and decide what would be appropriate for that. Of course, we'll be accused of discrimination, age discrimination, and everything else. But I mean, in terms of leading the country, I think it's appropriate that we have that age limitation thing. Then the other thing is we should be able to do a more thorough background check on people. You've got I forgot this guy's name, right? Santos, is that his name? He's running around lying to everybody. He's still lying. I mean, he's getting away with it. You have people that are slightly off-centered, like Lauren Bobbitt, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's a couple of guys out there too that I can't remember their names offhand. That's my age thing, that are saying things that just don't make any sense. And you've got a presidential candidate in Donald Trump who's lied so much that I personally believe he believes the lies now. The lie isn't a lie anymore; it's the truth, and that's a I don't know what you say what you call that, but that's dangerous. That makes him a pathological liar. Is that? I think that's the definition of a path. I don't know. But anyhow, he believes what he's saying, and there's no basis for that for a lot of what he says. So how can that be true? How can you let somebody go around and rant and rave like that? That's leading a country or a political party, for that matter. I don't know why people are afraid of him. I knew why people were afraid in politics or were afraid of. Can't remember the name. See, this is where my mind slips. But the ex-leader of the FBI, who had a book on everybody. He knew everything about everybody. He investigated everybody whether he was supposed to or not. And I'm sure that the CIA does that, and I'm sure that the various Legal agencies do that with these people now that they're watched, their backgrounds are checked, their friends are checked, and everything like that. But I still don't understand that the man Santos, especially how he got through. There should have been some sort of way to stop this man. Of course, fault is she's a narcissist, and she loves the public spotlight, and that's how she, and she's political. She makes these statements that are they're not crazy. They're just misguided. Let's say, or maybe they are crazy. I don't know. But anyhow, that just don't make a lot of sense to the world, and all of a sudden she's got all these people listening to her. Um, I will say this: the national divorce that she's talking about is not something new. That's been there for a while. It's like it really isn't anything new anymore. Just not just in politics, just about everything. I mean, in racism, that's not something new. White power, that's not something new. It's just this is the way things are and have been for a long time. It's just they keep it quiet. They don't parade it in the streets. But I mean, you've got a governor that's trying to control how your children are taught in Florida. And I'm sure that's not the only state. I believe Abbott's tried it before. You know, um, but he's gonna what the strange thing that DeSantis has got a bill put through that he can take refugees that enter the country in let's say California and transport them to a other state another state and not just dump them there. I mean, that's what he was doing before. He did that with I think it was either the vice president or Nancy Pelosi's house. He dropped off a bunch of immigrants. They had no place to go. There was no agency there waiting for them to support them or anything like that. And that creates two problems. One, are these vetted people? Are these people allowed? Should these people be allowed in the United States? Are they criminals? And you just turn them loose in the streets. And two, there's nobody there to help them or take care of them. In most cases, they don't speak English. They're not from an English-speaking country, so they don't speak English. It's I don't know. The thing that gets me is there's not more people my age who know history and have seen history, have lived through some of this stuff, that are willing to come out and talk. And I think that's because they're afraid. Now, would I do the same thing if I lived in the United States? I don't know. If I was still working, and I don't know whether I'd have the time or the desire to piss everybody off. Right now, I love pissing people off because they're just so stupid. Some of the things that come out of politicians' mouths and the things they want to do are not going to help everybody. It's like going back to the beginning of this thing where I said, the people in Ohio are suffering and the politicians are going out there to build themselves up. They're not going to help. They're not the right people to go out there and help. You need more people that were selfless, like Jimmy Carter. I mean, he might not have been the greatest or most effective president, although he did do some great things. It's just, some people considered him weak on certain issues and whatnot, so that they didn't want him there, and so he didn't get a second term. But then he went out and turned around and he did, Habit for Humanity or whatever that's called, where he's building houses and he did tremendous amount of stuff for people. He was a humanitarian. Most politicians don't go out and leave office and become humanitarians. Yeah. I, have thought for a long time that Obama's wife, Michelle, should either have been appointed to the Supreme Court or she should run for presidency. She is an extremely intelligent woman. She's a constitutional lawyer, so she's more than qualified, which is something we don't have a lot of people doing. I don't know. It's like, Trump ran, and Trump is probably one of the most unqualified, politically unqualified people to run for president in my lifetime. Yeah, but he said, "Oh no, I made deals. You made failed deals. You made deals. You make deals that only benefit yourself. You never made a deal that benefited a whole bunch of people. And I don't care what he says. It's true. He never benefited anybody except himself, and that's kind of horrible. Well, I've talked with the newborn baby. I tell you that I have a new grandchild. Yeah, that was one of the reasons I wasn't here. That I was supposed to be here last week, and I didn't show up. Was because we have a grandchild that's cute as can be. Scares me. He's so tiny. He's a couple of weeks premature, so he scares me. But all babies scare me. I mean, I'm not a I'm not a I love kids. I'm just not, I love babies. I don't know what happened. Someplace along the line, I just decided not to do that in my life. And probably a good thing for the kid. I had I was an alcoholic when I was younger, and I was a terrible person, and I have a terrible temper. I still do. I'm very quick. When it comes to my temper, the rest of my body's everything else I do in moderation, but my temper just bang, it's there. And I start yelling and screaming. And I try to be right when I'm doing that, but that doesn't, it doesn't excuse the fact that I have this temper. Um, my wife has all this great talent, artistic talent. She refuses to let me sell anything, you know, um, which is okay, I guess. She doesn't want to do it as a business. She wants to be independently wealthy when after I die. So I don't know how she's going to handle. Well, of course, I do know how she's handling it, but she'll have some money, and I don't know how long she's going to live. Uh, I'm not sure. The, there'll be people there to help her or whatnot. I'm not sure how her country's going to be. They have a communist president right now, but I'm not sure he's communist. I just think he's not smart. Um, I don't know how they elected him. He was hated as the mayor of Bogota. He was twice. They tried to remove him for corruption, and yet they elected him president. It's. I think this is. I live in a country that's basically controlled by organized crime and worldwide organized crime. So I can't really say anything. I can say a lot, but I don't know a lot, and I don't care. I'm 77 years old. I have some, I have problems like every other older person does. I don't think I'm going to be here forever. I don't plan on being here forever. I would like to be here so long as I'm able to think and talk. I would like to be around once. If I start to lose that more than I am right now, it's checkout time. Because the wood down here is different than what I get. Even though I buy it from the United States, it's not the greatest wood in the world. It's expensive for me to do that. I've sold a lot of it over the years, so it's not something I'm, afraid to sell or something. Um, I used to write books. I haven't been able to keep a continuous thought process going long enough to write another book, a theme. I don't have that kind of ideas anymore. My ideas are more short, quick, and sweet and gone. Um, I hope that at some point in time, I would hope that I would get a few people watching these things, these videos, and talking about them, and maybe coming on the chat and talking and trying to talk with me while I'm on the air, and see what's going on. But everybody wants a specific answer to what do you think we should do about um, the situation in Ohio? And I said, just help the people. You know, um, I'm a firm believer of screw the charities. Go do it yourself. Go give it to the people. Help that person. Find a person and help that person. That's what you should do. This giving to charities and whatnot isn't a I don't know whether they're honest. I don't know. I don't know where the money goes. It's something that they used to tell me that only a nickel of what you used to give to of a dollar that you gave to the American Cancer Society actually went to research and whatnot. The rest of it went to pay everybody's salary, the fundraiser, and fundraisers make a fortune. That's